The purpose of this, why we are here. Basically, let's learn from each other. And I still assume that you all might be sharing what you have been doing in your organization, and I have seen some of the very good presentations which have been done by the different organizations here. And of course, we will have fun in few hours now. And of course, this will be creating your relationships and all, and we would like to take this. And that's how this actually inspires us to keep building this. And maybe possibly that is the reason at least some part of our revenue goes into the R&D of this particular software. And that's why we are able to meet some of the user demands and come out with the new tools and enhancement year by year. So this is what we are going to do. This is all we are here, looking in for the geography as a platform, right? You all might be having an understanding of a geography. Somebody would like to do a mapping. Somebody would like to visualize this. Somebody would like to do an analysis out of that. And somebody would like to do a value add to it of an existing data. Everybody is contributing to this geography, and I understand in this room everybody is for that. So that's how the geospatial platform has also got evolved. We have gone by the days where we're just using a single desktop. We moved down to servers, to mobiles, and now we are moving down to cloud. And I'm sure in the next 5 years, you all will not be having any more CPUs. You may be having just monitors, keyboard, and that's it, and a network connection. And that's the way Esri is also moving towards that. You may be having a free system where just you connect to the internet, hook up to your cloud, and your system starts in. So start getting up, start moving. That is the reason why we are all trying to move you towards that online kind of a system which Esri is building you up, to get acquainted to that kind of a system, so that you don't feel a shock when then the whole Microsoft decides to stop or a Dell decides to stop those things. And that's how these are the different providing things which you have been building it up. And this is where the geospatial platform has grown. Now things have moved on, like content sharing. This was something which wherein the whole systems are getting there. There's a lot of content which is coming in. You would have seen in the morning talks where Government of India is planning to come out with this kind of a data sets where everybody would like to share. We have just now concluded WRS, they have created a huge data sets. That's a content. That's what we are looking in for. Apart from this, even Esri has come out with their own huge amount of contents which is being used in our onlines and explorers and all those things. To this, we are adding functionalities so that your content is made available to you, use that particular functionality, and you create your own applications, however you want to do it. And once you build these applications, you would like to view them in different kind of systems. And making it more simpler for non-GIS users too, we are incorporating many other business solutions into the system so that it becomes very easy, even for a non-GIS person who would just like to visualize his results. We'll see all those things, and then we have moved on to an API and embedded systems and all. And that's where the journey will be going on. And that has also actually has evolved us into this particular GIS platform. And that's the market, how it is being growing. You can see we have moved out from all this kind of data sets to apps and services kind of an environment. And that's what we are seeing from the morning, how services are being applied. Toward this, RGS 10.1 has a major step forward. How many of you are coming last year? How many of you are also present here last year? Oh, that's good, maybe less than 1%. So you will enjoy this. Let's see what all new we are bringing out in RGS 10.1. And you could have seen our traditional thing would have complete system. We would have bought it like a desktop, server, and all these things. Now we are going out with this. We are telling our server and online getting integration into a cloud platform. And that's our new logo which is coming in, wherein we talk about enterprise and cloud totally interacting with an online system. And that's where the RGS online, the popularity is going to come in this. And it's become so popular to this. And this is where we are bringing in the RGS 10.1 advanced things, have come out with all these kind of functionalities. Our basic aim is to make user more bothered about a GIS rather than on the background of how to configure his database, how to manage his database, what will happen, how is that, how do I manage versions, all these kind of things. We are trying to remove it so that it becomes more and more user-friendly. You become a GIS administrator rather than becoming dependent on a DBA or a core programmer to do and understand your work. So that's how the content which we are talking about. And this is one of the things, you don't get surprised when tomorrow one of my salesperson comes and talks, do you want RGS desktop standard? These are the name changes. So it means he actually is referring you to the ARC editor. So make a note of all these new things which many of my team members will be talking to you on this, like what has become what. So this is the new change things which I have brought in into this. And when we come out with these names, you should be able to address. And I hope some of you would have already filled in the quiz which was given to you. So let's look at the first thing. What are the license changes which are coming up at RGS 10.1? So this is the thing. The most simple thing is you need not deauthorize your existing 10.0 licenses. You need to just uninstall your software and install the new software, and you can just use the license server administrator and upgrade it straight away if you are eligible for an upgrade. Unless it's a new purchase, you will get, otherwise you will not be given with any of the authorization codes. Straight away, our license server can understand you that you are under maintenance and that gets upgraded. But you need to have a new license file which the license server administrator can do. In case of some reason the license authorization fails, you automatically get a 15-day license so that in the backdrop we resolve the issue whatever it has been happened. And there was many other demand, like people in the concurrent use system, they didn't know who is using this license. They were not able to throw those people out of the license if they are using it legally. So we have brought in that particular thing, which was one of the very high requested over the rgsideas.com, that license management should be there where I can know who is using my license, and if you don't want, you can manage those licenses. And we have also got wherein that's what the force check-in and hung was going to come in there. As far as server is doing, the license technology is same, but the whole architecture of server has changed. We will discuss this when we are going to go in. The complete server architecture has changed. So a lot of thoughts you have to give in when you're going to for 10.1. It has become good. We'll say why and look into that. And if you are going to use a data server which is going to be on a separate machine, it is as usual, it has to be licensed separately, and the connections to these particular things have become a direct connection directly. The other thing is, the Maplex and ArcScan have now been directly embedded into desktop. You no more require any new licenses to it, and Maplex is available from the version of Arc, from basic to advanced. The RGS server basic to RGS desktop basic to advanced. All versions will now going to happen. And the schematics for server has now been embedded with standard and advanced. So no more buying them as separate extensions and all. They have been now embedded into this. And some of the stuffs have also gone on. You may no longer be available. ArcInfo workstation is no more. It has been completely depreciated. ArcIMS is no more. It is not going to be delivered anymore. And there will be no more 32-bit RGS server. All of you who are on 32-bit server have to migrate to a 64-bit architecture of server. All your SDEs also need to be migrated to a 64-bit architecture. So the SQL Server 2005 support and Visual Studio 2008 support, Server 2003 support has also been depreciated because it's now being not anymore used or promoted. And VBA is going to be the last version where we are going to just support for only few people who are like some of our partners like Telvent and all who are using this extensively. They will support for that. But this is also, we are strongly advising all the people who have VBA inserts or add-ins being developed to migrate to Python. That's our next technology where we are using it. So let's look with the first part of this, of the data model to geodatabase. In any organization, when you want to start a project or a company, what is the first thing you do? You're looking for a designing of your data model. What is the traditional methods you use to design your data model? Anybody? How you use your data model? Till now, how you are creating your data models? That's must for any organization, right? Any large organization or a small organization. If you are doing a project, you need to design your data model. So we have got some good tools wherein when you look into this particular organization workflow, you do from collection to storage to manage. That's how the whole circle is going on. That's a typical organization workflow. You do a small project or you do a large project. The data size may vary, the scales may change, the volume of things may change, but the process remains the same. You do a small or a larger project. So at that thing, everything starts with a data model. So how do they do this? And that's how, once you do this data model creation, you create to a geodatabase schema, which actually may contain all these kind of feature classes, tables, relationship class, topology, and all those things. If you are not designed, this is what is going to happen when you want to scratch and find out what this is. This is how your geodatabase is internally organized. And it could be a real messy if you want to pick up a relationship in tables to where it is linked, to which particular subtype it is linked, and what is going to happen. So you have to plan. You have to plan and start your work with the data model for your organization or any work which you are going to do this. And to do this, we have a very simple tool. Why don't you use an Excel sheet and do it with that? So this is where an Excel sheet where we are designing this. This is a template which is available for any of you. This can be shared from any of the Esri's websites. You can download this particular thing, and you need to fill up this. So I'm working in an Indian zone, so I have given my particular area where I'm going to work in for. So this is actually your code which is being used by ESPG code, which all you might be knowing in. Counterfeit the data sets which you are going to this. What is your data set name? This is a feature data set name which you are going to give in there. And different object classes. These are the features which you are going to build in. And you see each of them are coming out with an object class ID, which you may have to assign. To the corresponding object class, you are going to assign your subtypes. Maybe when you're going to look in here, like I have an object ID 1. For the object ID 1, I'm specifying these many subtypes. Further to this, each of the subtypes can have your fields. And finally, if you have any domains. So once you have this, we have a production, we call this something called as map production system, which is available with ArcGIS for this, wherein you can use from your Arc catalog interface. We call this as conversion, where you can do a geodatabase builder. Wherein so I can select this particular XLS file. I can browse for this. So it gets validated for that, whether every tables or all thing has been organized. And I can straight away generate a geodatabase out of that. So I have a choice where I can do a personal or a file geodatabase. Many of you may say, why can't I build directly an enterprise system from here? That's not advised when you're designing a data model. Because there is a lot of changes which are going to, unless you start populating to your database, we advise you not to create an enterprise system directly. Start with a personal geodabase or a file geodabase, and then once you are thorough with any of those iterations have been closed down, then you can migrate to an enterprise system. So you can just give any name, like I can give this as something. It takes some time to generate it, and let me build this. So it keeps building for you, wherein it starts creating all your data sets. It reads from the Excel data sheets, and it just adds it and creates a file geodatabase of it. So it will take care of all your coordinate systems, the field, the subtypes, domains, and it's a one-time job. And this same thing might be used by different projects. So whenever you have to do this, you can just go there, and now you can see your geodatabase has been built up with that particular spatial types which you are given and all those things. So this helps you in just doing. So if you have got a next project, just switch on your Excel sheet, change your fields, populate it, and you keep going. And that's the first starting step for any organization which actually happens to this. And that's where the geodatabase builder, which actually does it. That's what we saw this. So once you have done and you are confident of this, the next step what you do is an enterprise system. So let's look at what are the enhancements we have got it at enterprise geodatabase management, which also we call it as ArcGIS Server Basic or ArcSDE, which is also being popularly called as, and how you can manage this. Previously, there were many users who used to talk that we are dependent on a DBA to do this, and he used to be an Oracle certified or any certified person to do this. Now I'm saying you don't require anything. You need to just bother about your GIS workflows and see how this can be done to this. So you all might be knowing this. This is how our 3 types of geodatabases are: the personal, the file, and the enterprise systems. You could see that in the enterprise scenario, we support all these 5 different things, and now we have added an additional support to SQL, Azure, and NetZia. That's a two new databases which have come in there. The SQL Azure is on a cloud-based database system, so if anybody is planning to do this, they can straight away switch over to that. It can be done this, and all are on the enterprise level. They're available at workgroup and enterprise level licenses, which can be used in there. And then you look at the enterprise geodatabase things. We have an RGS client, spatial data, geodatabase software, which is going in there, and then with the enterprise software. These are the all things which you require it. Previously, people who are all making to RKSD connections at 10.1, you may have to abort the way you have been connecting. Now it's all about direct connections. You have to make a direct connect to your RKSD databases. And all your native client are going to there, and you need to have a direct client drivers in order to connect to them. So this actually has proven that direct connections serve your data much faster, and the time lag is comparatively very less. So this is the new architecture which has come in for RKSD, and remind you, this is going to work only on a 64-bit systems. So looking at that, you also may have what is the backward and forward compatibility to that. So we always advise you, please upgrade your clients. The clients are nothing but all your desktop products. Any of the versions, please upgrade them. And this particular RKSD 10.1 have a backward compatibility up to 9.3.6, where we can connect and talk to that. Whereas a 9.3x cannot talk to a 10.1, so that's the thing. We can connect up to 9.3 databases, but a 9.3 client may not be able to connect to 10.1. So that's why we advise you to upgrade all your desktops, and hereafter the geodatabase structure which you have to do is you can plan it for that. And the geodatabase schema upgrade is also become very easy. No more running of scripts, no more running of this. It's all a one click of a button where it is going to handle you. So we have got this upgrade button in our catalog, and we have introduced a Python script as a geoprocessing API. Insert your SDE connection, and it gets your upgrade done. But please take a backup before you do it, because these are something if you have very critical data. So always keep a backup before you do this kind of operation, but process has become so simple. So this is where we're talking to you, Chris, about what all I told you, the 64-bit architecture for enterprise geodatabase systems. And we've got many new geodatabase administration tools where you can view, remove connections, view, manage logs. You can manage and block any new connection to thing. We have new tools to export, import things, and the other part is now even the editing of any features can be tracked. If anybody has changed your feature classes, those can also be tracked. That can be handled even at a file geodatabase level. You don't necessarily read an enterprise system. Even at a file geodatabase, you can enable and look for how the editor tracking has been done it. So let's look at the first part of this, where the first demo is going to happen for this with the Sashi, and he will be taking you around. Over to Sashi. Use the mic.
I think you are already familiar with our catalog interface. Only thing that has changed here is adding the database to your catalog or connecting to your enterprise database. Now, in the main interface itself, it shows or they list all of the supported RDBMS, and you can choose one and then select or type in the instance, then choose the type of authentication you want to use and go for providing the authentications. Then once you provide your authentication details, then it will list out all the available databases. Then you can connect it to it, click OK, it will make a connection, and you can type in your name as required. Once you are done it, if you see that this is a simple database, not a geo database. It's a simple SQL Server database. How to make it to a geo database? Just you have to right click on this, simple enable geo database. It will ask for, it will automatically pick up that connection. Then you have to provide the authorization file received from ESRI. Click OK. It will create the enterprise geo database. Earlier, you had to run a post installation. That is not required now. It has completely been simplified. It's just one click. It will provide you the complete log, whatever it, if it finds any errors, that we can use it for resolving it. Yes, now it has created, it is just taken 23 seconds, that's it. Earlier it used to take half a day or so to do that job. Now once you create the database, now you can go on adding the users. Earlier we used to depend on the DBS for adding the users or giving or any privileges. Now it has been completely simplified. Just you have to click right mouse click on that, go to administration tool. This entire thing is a new administration tool as demanded by the users. And you can see, you might have seen that in the ideas.usri.com also. This was one of the most voted idea. You too please can provide a new idea that if it is feasible can be implemented in your software. Just go for a add user, provide the connection details, and database user you can give. Okay, then database authentication, then the provide the role. Click OK, it will add a user in the database. That radio user is ready. Earlier, the geodatabase administrator used to find some of very much difficulties in operating. This has been completely simplified. Once the user is created, user can go to a particular data sets, then go to manage and add privileges. Here you can add the user which has been created now and assign the various privileges to him, whether he has to insert, update, whether he has that rights or not. Now, once we have added that, now comes to the complete administration. Just I have to click right mouse click on that, go to administration, entire geodatabase administration can be done through this window. This is completely a new feature in 10.1. Now, all of the enterprise database details along with versions, its history, everything is listed here. You can see all of these version details. Once you click on that, right click on that, you can create a new version. On that, click OK. You can give details and assign whether it was a private or public or protected one. It's ready for operations. And you can see the tree of entire versions available within that database. And reconcile order that is required to do when a lot of editing are happening. And even the historical data that we are going to store in the master administration. And you can view the overall connecting to a database. And if administrator sees that I should end a particular user who is logging on to a for long period, or if a user who logs in and goes off on a tour or week or so, he can just right click and end that user, disconnect the user. And if any user or the schema changes has to be made by the administrator, he can see if any user using that particular table. If user is using that, he can directly have the facility to end that lock and start going for maintenance activities. It's all. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, Sashi. So you would have seen the simplified part of this SD. This all was previously done either through scripts or you need a DBA to handle this. Now it is you who can do this now. You need not bother for anything. You can become an administrator and you can handle how the database are being done. So now I'll take you to the next step. So now it's a situation. We have created data model. You have built the geodatabases. You have done all the privileges to be given to whom and all. And now let's look how we are going to create a data for this. How you are going to populate the data for this. So once you do this, when you have multi-user system coming in this, you all have to now migrate to an enterprise system. That's the mandate. When you're looking at the country and you're going for something like a national GIS, it's a mandate that organizations like you all need to have an enterprise system. Because you will be ultimately a contributor to the national GIS. It's not only the government of India, it's you all who are going to contribute. It's your data which may matter to the government. So once you do this, in order to have that kind of a data synchronizations and all those things, you need to have an enterprise system of databases within your organizations. So in this, when you have an enterprise system, there is a tool which comes to you, it's all a part of versioning. How it actually helps you, how the versioning of databases can actually help you. You have multiple editors. Think about a same person or the same, within your same organization, everybody is trying to edit the same. How you are going to do that? You are supposed to might be an expert in water domain, so you might be capturing all the channels across the India, or across your districts, or across your taluks. The same feature class. Only instead of having hundreds of feature classes, it's one same feature class which everybody is using. Doesn't it make exciting? So that one feature class, one database for your organization, and you start doing this. And the best part of this particular versioning is you can have different views of the data. And you can even edit the complex geometry networks, and it also helps you in doing replication and archiving. So when you're, so this is a typical thing where we actually suggest you, like when you're trying to do on a long transactions, try to isolate the work across multiple sessions, and so that each other edits don't impact each other. And the parallelly, it can help you in doing model what if scenarios. So public and the flood situation, when the real time comes, you take things from your master database, and or you can see immediately somebody where which particular the region might be affected. They can start pumping in only that particular data, and you can start using it in the what if scenarios, and you can do this. So that's a kind of thing. So there are various kinds of data distribution, but one of the most popular thing when you look on an enterprise things is of two-way data distribution. You see there are multiple editors who are working for the same thing. You have an enterprise geodatabase, and here also a different place where multiple editors are there. All of them are connected. This is a single database where the two-way replication is happening, and both the database are getting updated at that particular instance. So it can be set by you. You want to do it on an hourly basis, or it's to be overnight or a fortnightly basis, choice, but it can even do instantaneously. Whatever changes might be happening somewhere at Delhi and another office maybe in Mumbai, you can see the synchronizations happening parallelly. And somebody watching this as an administrator can see the data progress happening into this. And if you have single isolated users, they also can start working with their own SQL Server Express, and they can pump into this particular database. That's how a two-way data replication can happen. So in this, the version editing through this, we actually do through a version, and a concurrent editing is allowed. And you can even have long transaction. It's not like you should do only for small. It can run for hours today, and you can do it on this same thing. And in parallel, it supports your undo and redo part of that. So when you go into this, we have ultimately the reconcile and conflict menu, which was previously one of the very tough tasks where people has to see which is right and which has to be rejected. You never used to have a user interface to basically handle that. Now, you being a GIS, more concerned about GIS, we have given you that particular user interface wherein you can see which particular pre-conciled version or which conflict version which has to be accepted or rejected. And it can be done to you through a menu, and you can be data overwritten at a one click of a button. And that's the conflict resolution thing. So let's switch over to Sashi again and have a small immediate look for the first version of this, or the simplified version data management at 10.1.
Thank you, Krishna.
Over to Sashi.
Thank you, Krishna. Yeah, here I am showing the two windows. One is connected by a named Sashi, and one you can say at some other user, as Vishal is connecting it to the database. You can edit the data connected to the same database simultaneously. Here I am starting the editor. Suppose some rows are missing here. Just I want to add some features.
So it's the same database or different version?
Say minor rows. I'm adding that. Yes, I've added 2 rows. So now I'm saving that data. And now I can go for reconciling that. Reconciling with my base. Reconciled, and I am posting that data. So now I am stopping that editing. Even the other user also can start the editing. go for updation of a, suppose a building feature. He has edited building feature, says saving the edits, and once again go for reconciling with the parent version. Okay, then post the data to back. Then once this procedure is done, you want to see it in the administrator window where administrator can see that what all the changes can have happened in the database. Now he can change it to a version where parent versions has done. Okay, he can start editing and see that the changes have appeared here also. So once this is over, if both the people have edited the same feature, suppose still is there in the editing session, suppose this building is not properly digitized, so he will also edit it. He brings that it as somewhere here. And this user also edits that data. Done. Now, once the user start reconciling with his version, it is done and he will save it and stop the edits. Then this user also goes for the updations. Sorry. This user also edits that data and tries to reconcile with the update version. Then it gives an error stating that some other user already edited that data, you want to review it. I will say yes. It will bring up a window to reconcile that data. I can view that conflict which is giving that particular error. And whichever I feel that it's good, they can just check it and say accept the pre-reconcile or the conflict option. Say I'm taking that. And I can directly post to my database. It will get reflected in the main version. Okay, thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, Sashi. So isn't that interesting? You are able to do that at a menu part. Same people editing the same feature classes. You're trying to do a conflict and the resolution part of that. And they're all now betting menu driven. So now that's come to the stage where I've been capturing and getting information to it. So at 10.1, we have also gotten the new tools which I was telling you about, editor tracking, and some of the new editing tools which have been introduced into your system to make your productivity much more faster. These are some of the very, again, useful tools. So one is there where in editor tracking, wherein you can see the information which is going to come in here is like which user has created, at what date it was created, and when was the last when it was edited, and when it is again the date of that. So these kind of information can actually give you information like who actually edited this particular feature class. So that's an advantage. If you're using a file database or a enterprise kind of a system, you can actually come back and find out which particular user is using this and how it can be received. And if you want to, with the advantage of version is, you can even go back to the version which you want, where the editing you don't want to accept it. So that's one of the, again, an advantage of an enterprise system when you are going in there. And apart from this, we have got many good new editing tools into ArcGIS, where we have got an align edge tool, wherein the gaps can be done automatically to that, align to a shape. You can align your geometry to the shape part of that, and then you can even replace the geometry of this part. So let's have again a quick demo from Sashi on this. Sashi.
Thank you, Krishna. Yes, here you can see that in the same catalog interface, if you want to enable a geodatabase to track who are all edited that data, just go for administration and enable that particular database for the uh, tracking and other purposes. Then once you are done that, we can come back here. That demonstration editor tracking I am showing here once again, along with the aligning data. I am starting that editing. It is mainly a topology correction tool. It is called aligning edge. So wherever the topology errors are there, that I can edit it in or correct it in just 1 or 2 clicks. Suppose here some error is there, some while digitizing some gaps have occurred. Just I have to select the source line feature that has to be moved to a destination one. Just click on that and click on the destination. It is corrected and updated. If you want to see that that has been tracked properly, just click on that information, and the person who has edited data is completely tracked. And the next editing tool I wanted to show is align to shape. Here, you might have seen in our organization that data sets have been generated at various scales. Sometimes you want to match a particular district boundary or a taluk boundary which is shared by a road. Sometimes when you are digitizing, there may be many users or the different user who has edited that data. The district boundary might have been edited by some user, or the road boundary has been edited by someone else. How to correct such situations? Just have to select those boundaries, go for align to shape tool, select the district boundaries which you want to align, feature class, provide some tolerance level. Just I am giving the exaggerated value here. Now it is asking you to select the feature that be used as a destination one. Then track or the trace that particular feature. Demonstrate here. Okay, done. It will create a buffer around that area and show you the how it will look after correction. Now, if you feel that it's corrected, then you can say align. That much part is completely aligned, and that another edit session you can take other corrections values. Then I'm stopping editing and saving those edits. Now, one more new editing tool has been provided in the 10.1. That one is called reshape or replace geometry. In this case, particularly this feature has not been digitized as appeared in the satellite image. This I want to correct, and I want to retain the attribute values as well. To do that, we have to just select that feature, then go for replace geometry tool. Once you have done that, we can go for digitizing over that feature the correct way it has to be. Yes, this is done. Double click that. Once you have done that, all of the attributes that were there earlier will be copied into the newly created feature, and it is tracking the user who has created or edited that data also. Thank you, Krishna. It's over to Krishna.
So now we have seen, we have come, done editing, improved upon building topology, everything has been done now, but still at an organization level, you might have a huge amount of data where the data might have got created by you, or it might have been, you might have outsourced to a third-party vendor who might have given the data back to you. So how you are going to verify that whether the data which has been coming to you is an error-free and it is topologically correct? There are some tools which you have been very traditionally using them in ArcGIS, the editor and info topology tools which have been using it extensively. But there is again, as part of our map production system, we have something called as a data quality, which actually comes up with your data reviewer tool, wherein it adds further more value to remove all these kind of errors which are there into your particular data sets to do this. And this is must. The data quality actually matters. Possibly that is the reason why in India we don't want to share the data with anybody. Or it's possibly we have a fear within ourselves whether my data will match with his data, and nobody wants to accept. And I'm sure within your own organization you may see the boundaries don't matching. So how we are going to address this? There should be some kind of a standards which you need to bring it into that. And that's where maybe a national level thought has to bring in that this should be a standard data sets which has to, and this to which everybody starts aligning to it. And cost of this poor data can be very much extreme. It's an extreme when you need a lot of rupees to fix this. And this can maybe jeopardize your entire project, and you will know that your quality of your data is bad maybe in the midway of the project. And you may have to spend crores in order to fix this. And this actually impacts your customers and plus their reputation. So it is like publishing a data without like a document, how you publish without a spell check. We are bound to do mistakes. So that's it's a spell checker to your spatial data. The data reviewer can do this. And that's where the data quality management, we give you a rule-based workflows. There are very interactive tools and it can help you in tracking your errors. And as far as this thing is there, this has been an extension till 8.0 now. This particular extension has now been enabled on server 2. So an administrator or data, the QA QC editor need not spend time with the desktop. He can have a dashboard running in. He can run those scripts and run on the quality of the data which has been submitted to him. And these particular data rules, where the rules have been set, can execute on the server and bring out where all the errors are there, and they can be corrected with our normal correction tools, map correction tools. So this is with the system where it goes. This is the workflow. First you review this, find and record your errors, correct them and verify. And the best part is the topology and these edits are getting stored into your database. So any point of time you can go back and check where the errors are and who has corrected it and how it has been corrected. So this is how, when you look into the whole data quality process, this can work on a personal file and enterprise database systems. There are the features things. And here it is almost similar to an edit session. You start a reviewer session for this, allows that thing, and this has an automated checks. You can do in a batch review. So if you have a huge data, a very huge data, where you're doing for your entire district or state, you can run the batch process while you're going out, and maybe by the possible time you come back, you can see the all errors getting listed out there. And you can have a visual review to this, and it can store them and track all the anomalies. That's what I think it can store. This is a particular thing where the errors are getting stored into your database, and those can be recalled at any point of time. And finally, you can summarize your quality results to this. So we have an automated quality review and a visual review, because there might be some cases like we will not be able to find out error whether he is trying to digitize a building. In the row of a building, one building would have missed it. You can't track that kind of error. So that's why we have introduced a visual review wherein it grids the whole area, and you can go grid by grid review and find out those errors. And this actually helps you in finding out the patterns of thing, and you can do this. So this has got around 40 data checks which are grouped into 11 categories, and this 40 to 40 can be combined with various other tools, and you can come out with almost 120 different topological checks. It's not only a topological, it's a geometric check or any other kinds of checks which can be run. So this gets an additional value to what it has been already provided to you with your desktop softwares. And it's very easy and configurable, and it can be done. Let's again go back to Sashi for this, for a quick demo of this, where you can see how the data review has been done. And it is always advised that don't populate your non-spatial data into any GIS database unless you do this particular thing. Yes, Sashi.
Thank you. Now, the familiar interface of ArcMap already we have done it. Now we have into the data reviewer. This is the main menu which you are interacting with while quality or auditing of your data. In this simple interface, there are checks available, or 42 checks, what Krishna has mentioned there. Out of that, I'm going to demonstrate one. Here, if I want to find out a multi-part line check of a particular road feature class, just you have to click on that, select any say you give road on with multiple polygons, and select the feature class that you want to do the quality editing. Just say click OK. Once it is done, you'll find a small check on the right side of that menu. Then click OK. It will ask you for whether you want to execute it to a particular extent or to an entire database. Just I'm executing this particular check for this extent only. So click OK. It will list out the errors that are found during that check. Then if you want to write to a table or just a browse results, that I am writing it to a table as a database that you can use for tracking the data till it corrected or accepted by the user. Now I am clicking that heart of the this reviewer table or the data reviewer. Just I can right clicking on that. It will get highlighted in front of you. And if you want to edit that data, just start editing that as usual. And once that data is corrected, you can stop that editing. So that reviewer table provides the facility to track who has done that review and who has that correction. Right now that correction has been done. If you feel so, then enter the correction status of it. It will display a menu to evaluation, whether it's been resolved or unresolved. If it's unresolved, you can send it back to a review technician once again, or the correction. Then it has been resolved. Say in a custom or something, any message if you want to provide, just click OK. It will update the person who has done that review or anything, then accept and procedure in the same way. Once it is done, if you feel that some features or something has missed, even though it's a multi-part feature, so you feel that some data is missing or the building is missing. To do that, just click on this menu, commit to a reviewer table, that will get added to the table. Like is, select this feature class or a feature, just click on that menu. It will list out all of the possible errors or the thing that you want to communicate it to your rectification team. Just click OK and provide some notes, what type of error that is and what the technician has to be done, then click OK. It will get added to table, so the same review process can be done. Apart from this, it has got a very good tool for taking out the reports also. Say just click on reports, and standard reports formats are available. Say that the session that we have run previously, that I am selecting it. Click OK and take out the reports formats. Click OK. It will list out all of the errors found in that database and automatically populates in the Excel sheet. It will list out all of the errors and number of corrections that has to be made with percentage, everything. That can be used for communicating with your error correction team. Once you have done that, if you find that if you have acquired a new data into your organization that you want to validate the accuracy or the positional accuracy of that data, for that, there is a specific tool from data reviewer itself that's called position accuracy. It will list out the tools over here. Using that, you can assess the positional accuracy. You have to find out the source and destination points for that particular thing. Just I have already selected the predefined 4 points. So that I am zooming to that particular point. Click on that positional accuracy tool. It will bring out you the user interface for accuracy assessment. Click next and select the data layer and the reference layer that you want to assess the quality or the positional accuracy. Just I am taking out the all default things. Now you can assess the data for the particular confidence level, and the units also you can choose. just click and finish. Now the interface is ready for assessing the quality. Now I am taking the source and destination points. Suppose this source has to be here, then 3. Okay, it has taken automatically that the destination one. Once it is done, you can click on the reports, the show results. It will list out all of the statistical parameters, the mean, median, and standard deviation of that error. That you can export it as a shape file or ISO a metadata XML file, or you can save the simple text file also. It will give you the complete report on that. This way, you can save a lot of time for assessing the quality of that data. Thank you, Krishna. It's over to Vishal.
Thank you, Sashi. So now we have seen, we have built it, now created, made it error data free, and now we are bringing it back to a desktop wherein you can pump into your all the analysis which can be done into this. So before going that, I think it's already late for this. Let's have a small tea break, and then we can come back. Maybe in 15 minutes you can rush back because the previous user has taken some time. So if you can come back by this time, then we can have a quick tea break, and you can come back by around 15 minutes of time so that we can continue with the same session. A simpler way. We have got many exciting tools, like we have already seen the streamlined rating, QA, QC, and other part of that. So there are many tools where you can generalize it. You can generalize your maps to fit into different scales. And the first of this is, one of the things is ability of searching your different tools and data sets, where it has consistently improved it. You can now even restrict your search for a geographical area, which actually can furthermore refine and bring back the quality information. Apart from this, you can even fix your extent to this, and you can bring the data. We have got dynamic legend presentations to this. All your VB and all these things have been now moved on to completely to Python scripting. We have got enabled time live mode layers where you can be doing this. We have got in better kriging things, and now even the time has been embedded into your routing systems. And we have got some good utility tools, like you can convert your geocoded photographs directly as a point feature in ArcGIS. So they directly get plotted as a point features with the photo embedded on it and all the information which you capture from the field. Let's look at a quick demo from this, from Vishal, about what's the new things which are coming in there.
Welcome back after tea. Now going to what's new in desktop 10.1, I'll just start with a new feature which is there to search. And this search, we can make it based on spatial extent. For example, I type for maps and I want to search for data. I get various data related to various different scales. Now, if a user wants to work in a particular extent and then he wants to search for a data, so we can make use of searching on based on particular extent. Now, a user working towards southern parts of the country, he can just make use of search within the current extent, and you can see the search results have changed accordingly. So now he would get the data and the maps which are related to his extent. So we can make use of this tool to search the data. The next tool being now added with 10.1, ArcGIS for desktop 10.1 is, this tool is used to have geotag photographs directly to points. So you can just again use the same search functions. For tools, so here's a new tool added now with ArcGIS for desktop 10.1 is to convert geotag photographs to point. So till I operate this tool, what it would do is, you have an input geotag photographs folder. You just have to provide it with the output location, and it converts them into a point feature classes. So a GIS user can further make use of these feature classes along with the geotagged information. So as I say, okay, the tool would actually run and generate point feature classes based on input geotagged photographs. And as we get the point feature classes, I'll just show one by one the different photographs. So these are various different photographs which I got for the areas. I can make use of them, and I can see the different photographs along with the point feature classes. So that was about what's new in ArcGIS for desktop 10.1. Back to you, Krishna.
Thank you, Vishal. So this, we have got some 85 new tools which have been added into our core desktop with around 117 new parameter changes which can be taken up by you for all this analysis. So we have got our analysis getting improved in geodesic buffers. How many of you have used this tool? Geodesic buffer? So we have got some very good improvements on the space-time cluster representation on your data. So within the space and the time cluster, how your data can be represented. It's more of a business analytics kind of a product which can help you in doing this. You can even interpolate your information. The aerial interpolation techniques have now been added. We have added a new tool of empirical basin kriging and many improvements on the 3D part of this. Apart from this, now data sharing being the mode of the day, your ArcGIS sharing for your data has become much more simplified. It's just a one click of a tool where now you can publish this either as a service or you can share them as a map package or tile package onto your ArcGIS online. It's just a click of a button where we add in those tools to share those packages. And now, even if you have some of your geoprocessing packages, which might be an IPR to you, can now be shared as a GPK package, where you can show your geoprocessing packages and the end user can download it and he can straight away apply his data for these changes and he can apply the geoprocessing for that. There is a lot of improvements on the layout front. One, we have already seen that, the dynamic legends part of this. Now we've got a different north arrow addition to it, improvements on the map scaling part. We have the coordinate search for you. You can even search for the different coordinates based on ESPG codes. Now we support your JPEG and PNG images as a marker symbols. So even your JPEG symbols can now become symbols there. As an improvement on labeling, as Maplex has now been added directly into the system. So let's have a quick demo of this from Vishal of the demo.
Thank you. So now to explain to you about a geodesic buffer. A geodesic buffer makes use of area or distance on actual, you could say actual surface area rather than the Euclidean distance. So map on your screen actually depicts a world map with green land and 200 kilometers of buffer. So this buffer would cover most of the parts of northern Canada and some parts of Ireland. And the same area, if I make use of a projected coordinate system, this is the area, same 200 kilometers around Greenland. Now it does not cover much parts of northern Canada and the island. So the concept behind here is, with ArcGIS for desktop 10.1, the geodesic buffer feature has been provided with all three feature classes, point, line and polygon. So you can make use of any of them to calculate the actual distance on Earth. So the processing time would be slightly higher, but it would give more accurate results. Now moving towards the further part of analysis, I'll move back to my image. Now we have new tools being introduced with ArcGIS for desktop 10.1. One of them being grouping analysis. Now you have spatial data along with some other constraints. So you can make use of this data to actually use various different tools. So again, I just search for my new tool called as grouping analysis. So this tool would actually generate a cluster of groups based on my input parcel data on the basis of the spatial extent which I use or I help. Okay. So this is the tool which has been now introduced with ArcGIS for desktop 10.1, which requires an input. I'll provide a parcel data, and I provide an ID, and it asks for the option where on which part exactly the analysis should be based on. I select for area. I give a proper output location. Selection of my spatial constraint along with the method I want to use it. And I say run the tool. So this tool would actually create a group of cluster based upon area to my input data set. This can be made further useful, for example, for taxation departments. If they have different land parcel data, they can make use of this tool. So depending upon the group of clusters, it would actually help us. You can look here. It divides it into two different groups, a smaller group which is depicted in orange color and a bigger group which is depicted in blue color. You can change number of groups accordingly. You can change the parcels which are said to be put on high tax or a lower tax. You can make groups based upon your type of parcel data which you are trying to use. The next good tool provided here is same with to delineate the input roads or to collapse the building areas. I'll show one of them right now. So this is my dense network of parcels, and when I want to change or generalize my data from a smaller scale to larger scale, I can make use of the tool called as to delineate my built up area. So two new tools have been added to a cartographic toolbox from ArcGIS for desktop 10.1. First of them being delineating built up area. This is a simple to use tool. I provide my input parcel buildings. Along with I provide a proper location for my output locations. A grouping distance and the minimum accepted value. I say okay. So this tool would actually delineate the complete dense network of parcels into a smaller delineation, which can be used to generalize it from a larger scale to a smaller scale. So such tools are also useful while we are working at different scale zones. The other tool which has been introduced along with the cartography toolbox is to collapse road details. This tool can also be used that if you are working on a different scales of area, so you can collapse the different road details. So as you can see on your screen, the building details have been delineated. So if I move out to a different scale, no, I get a similar result. And if I really want to work on a very larger scale, I need not use that. Then I can use my simple feature buildings. So that was about the geoprocessing increments provided with ArcGIS for desktop 10.1. Back to you, Krishna.
Thank you. So after this, let's move on to see what are the imagery improvements which you have brought it at desktop 10.1. This should be real exciting. There are many changes which have been there. So ArcGIS is being traditionally known to be a GIS things. We have done a significant improvement on the imagery front. With ArcGIS itself have improved significantly, and apart from that, our technology partner from XLS with NV product coming into this, and which has a seamless integration with ArcGIS, has added further value to that. So now it is so many things. Now you can see we can integrate a full motion video into the ArcGIS system, wherein the video images can now be supported and stored into this. We have an automatic alignment tool which can be done. We are supporting now 3D measurements in the particular desktop systems, and as part of this, we have improved upon the visualization on the analysis part of that. So when you look at that particular part, we are coming into this with a first new improvement is we have got a lot of new additions to the raster format support. So wherein you can see I got a misgeneration 4 with the NOVA Polar Operator. These are the different things, ComSat, Spotfire, RadarSat. These are the new satellite support which has been now given into things. You can open those imageries into ArcGIS system things. And coming to the raster geoprocessing tools, we have got these are the new tools which have been now incorporated within the imagery toolbox of that. So one such good improvement is about raster data product. You might be using nowadays where you're using multispectral data, where it contains all different kinds of images. It can be a multispectral or a panchromatic or a thermal image or a pan sharpened image, all coming into a one single product where you get in as a raster product. So you need not segregate them separately. RGS can read and distinguish them automatically separately, and you can, if you want to display only a pan sharpened image, you can display only those particular bands. If you want to display a multispectral or a thermal band, you can just display it. You need not go and search for a particular band X to be belonging to a thermal thing. RGS can now distinguish that automatically and make you a different thing. And we have now got a new utility tool for auto georeferencing, what we call this, which has been there when you have a different time imagery which is available with you. So this tool can be really helpful to you. And the further improving our image analysis part, we have introduced a new particular tool for interactive stretching of the imageries, which can give all the application and highlight those changes. And on the pan sharpening part, we have introduced the Gram-Schmidt algorithm, which has been added. So one of the best functions of this particular pan sharpening is it retains the original DN value to the maximum level. Even apply pan sharpening those, and since this particular algorithm helps you in this, even this pan sharpening image can now be used for all your digital image processing. Let's have a quick demo on this from Partha, and we'll see how these changes have been brought out, the changes.
Thank you, Krishna. And respected dignitaries, very good afternoon to all of you. As Krishna mentioned, various couple of enhancement has been arrived in version 10.1 in ArcGIS. I would like to highlight here the major enhancement and most frequently and useful enhancement here. First is raster data product, which has been arrived here within the raster catalog. You can see sometimes you will get the data from the data provider like Landsat, QuickBird, Iconos, GUI. They put the multispectral data, different bands and panchromatic and thermal bands if available within a single folder. So at the time of image stacking, you have to consider the band width only. But here raster data product that can take care of your header information or orbital information, and it can stack the image automatically within your algorithm. If I want to add the multispectral, you can see here this is the Landsat imagery, band 1, 2, 3, 4, and panchromatic band is available. At the same time, the thermal bands are also available, and it all has been taken care automatically by software itself. Multispectral band is added here. If I want to add panchromatic, within a few seconds, panchromatic bands will be added. So that type of enhancement is arrived within the ArcGIS itself. So you can use it very nicely, very categorically, particularly for the data provider like Landsat, QuickBird, Iconos, GUI, where multispectral and panchromatic bands they put within a single folder. Telling this, I am moving to another important enhancement, that is auto georeferencing. This is an image of Indian data, obviously. Different time data I would like to put here. See, data opened here. Anyway, I'll show it to you later actually. Now coming to pan sharpening part, pan sharpening tools, one major important enhancement has been added, that the Gram-Schmidt algorithm. Gram-Schmidt algorithm is very much important because output of Gram-Schmidt algorithm is acceptable for digital image processing. Okay, because it retains the original DN values up to maximum level. It is up to 80%, up to 85% level it can retain. So you can take the output for your digital interpretation. That algorithm has been added in ArcGIS 10.1, and we can see the output here. This is I'm zooming in a particular area. This is the condition of multispectral image, and this is the condition of panchromatic image, and that can be used for digital interpretation. I'm opening the auto georeferencing feature here. I'd like to show you. The Indian image is opened here. At the same time, I'm opening the different image of same area of different time scale, and you can see clearly shifting is available here. Very easily and very quickly you can remove the shift. Here we have the tool that is called auto registration. If you click here, automatically it will collect the GCPs from the registered image. One image is registered, another image is not registered, and automatically it will shift the image. That can be used for imagery as well as your vector data also. You can see now it is superimposed properly. So this auto registration tool is very useful. You can use very nicely and very categorically. Another major enhancement has come, that is interactive stretch. Here this tool has been added. Enhancement or interactive stretch we use to highlight a particular object. That for example, here in this image I want to highlight a specific object. I want to highlight my water body here. Giving a specific enhancement, very easily we can highlight the water body. So that is that type of enhancement, very important and major enhancement we have highlighted here. At the same time, I would like to mention different other important enhancements is also available. Thank you. Over to Krishna.
So coming to this, as I was telling you about that, we have gotten a tight integration with NV and all. So with RGS and NV getting embedded into the same machine, you can now execute your NV tools within the RGS environment, and you can execute some of those algorithms within the RGS environment. Apart from that, there is a significant improvement within the NV also, wherein we can do a lot of changes which have been brought in. So this is one of the long times ideas where it has been told, like they wanted to see a Google Earth imagery within the environment of this. So whereas now the NV with XLS support, we can now integrate a Google image within the NV environment, wherein you can do the relationships for that. We can even support an Esri base maps can now be brought into NV so that the contents can be used in there. Then we have got some very excellent tools for geological application, wherein you can do a material identification, wherein we have this imagery of this kind of things, wherein basically on the spectral profile of the material which you are looking in for, you can use it. So this is where an organization should be trying to generate their own spectral profiles, and those can be embedded into these softwares, and material or the mineral identification can happen very easily within the NV. So we have got another one very excellent tool for n-dimensional visualizer to pick up the best signatures. So this actually, the n-dimensional visualizer can help you in picking up the high quality signatures from your imagery, which can be rather inputted later, the later stage can be inputted into the classification algorithms or into a subpixel classification to come out with a much accurate result than the standard classification procedures. So this is where we have this with image processing, where you can do even a subpixel classification of that, and there we can apply filtering and all those part of that. Let's have a quick demo from this and we can push it out.
Thank you, Krishna. This is the ArcGIS window where different vector layers is added, different type of vector layers is added. At the same time, we got the satellite image. Specifically, it is a hyperspectral satellite image of same area. Now, this is actually, I would like to mention, this is the image of, this is the area is Bangalore, okay? And we know that Bangalore is known as green city. And we want to know the green city is remaining as green or something changes is there or not. That we want to know. So we want to identify the stress vegetation within the Bangalore city. I would like to take help of NV software here. Before that, I would like to mention that NV and ArcGIS is very closely integrated. How closely integrated that we can see. See, this is the new GUI of NV software. Look and feel wise, it is just like ArcGIS. It is left side, but it is NV, it is not ArcGIS. Left side is layer manager and right side toolbox. If I want to search any algorithm, for example, I would want to maximum likelihood classification, maximum likelihood classification has come. So this is that type of search tool is available. So look and feel wise is just like ArcGIS, so that minimum confusion you will get. ArcGIS geodatabase is directly supported here. Any geodatabase you can connect here. This way you can take the input image here and you can use it. Same way I have connected my geodatabase whichever is opened in the ArcMap. Now here we have the tool that is called Vegetation Index Calculator. We are very much aware about the different indices like NDVI, Normalized Differential Vegetation Index, EVI, etc. But here in NV, within a single click, you can get a more than 25 number of indexes at a time. Not only NDVI, at the same time you will get the different index like photochemical reflectance index, water band index, you will get lignin index, anthocyanin index, so many indexes are there. So we can generate the indexes within a single click. That indexes we will use to identify the stress vegetation. I am coming to show you the tool, agricultural vegetation stress identification tool. This is the tool, and it is taking the help of NDVI, taking the help of water band index, taking the help of photochemical reflectance index, which has been generated from the vegetation band index calculator. Now if I click, and I will get the output. I am showing you the output here. This is the image, value 9, that means it is highly stressed area, that is red, and value 1, that means it is low stressed area. Here 0, black or 0 means it is not classified. If I off it, now you can see most of this is a city area, concrete area has been removed. Okay, all concrete areas has been removed. It is not classified at all, not classified. But here see, it is in standard false color combination, that's why red is vegetation, that we know very well. If we check it, see this area is black and blue area, that is vegetation stress parameter is 1 and 2. And at the same time if I come here, one area is showing as red. I would like to zoom this area. This area, if you see this area, slight, these are red area, but here it is reddish color. So that's why vegetation are there, but it is in stress condition, that's why it is showing as red. Now this is the output has been generated from NV. If I want directly, we have the tool, we can send the output to directly to ArcMap. Not necessary you have to open the ArcMap and you have to browse for the data. From here I will click send to ArcMap, it will be opening on the ArcMap. That type of integration is available here. Coming to other NV tools, as Krishna mentioned, that is one important tool, one important enhancement has come within the, that is catalog. For example, if you have a folder, that folder contain not only the image, at the same time it is containing the so many things, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so many things are available. For example, this is my folder. It contains Word file, PowerPoint file, Excel file, movie file, at the same time image file. So many files are available here. I want to identify the image file. Now using the catalog tool, it is very easier to identify. Here you will get the option to scan a folder. You can browse a folder, you can scan the folder. Automatically all NV supported image will be identified here. See, in that particular folder, if I click here, it is showing this is the image, at the same time preview also. Now very good functionality, I want to see where the image is. What is the approximate location of the image? It will show in the map, this is the area. If I click here, showing this is the area. If I click this, so this is the area. Not only that, I want to see within the map also, within the Google map. If I click open map, here you can see within a few seconds it will be opening the same area. This is Indian data, it is opening. If you at the same way, if you click here, overview, it is updated, at the same time it will be updating here also. So that type of enhancement catalog functionality has arrived. You can use it, you can take the benefit of this algorithm here. Same airport. This is the airport area, same area. This is the Toronto area. That is the image cataloging is available here. Coming to Google Map linking, it is also very much important tool. Here I can link with Google. This is Indian data, also lake of Bangalore. Here, now it is coming, this lake. Now if I drag this image, at the same time it is also dragging, and so on. Okay, that way it is linked. Not only map, if I click here satellite it will be also be opening. Same way we can open the ESRI base map also. So many ESRI base map from ESRI online, we can open it and we can use it. Coming to material identification part, here this is a satellite imagery. I want to, NV is very strong in spectral analysis. I want to click here. Now it is showing a spectral profile, a particular area, and I want to know what is the area, what is the object that I want to identify. Very easily we can identify. Here we have a tool that is called material identification, and this material identification tool is added with different spectral library. Spectral library from United States Geological Survey, spectral library from Jet Propulsion Laboratory, so many things are available. And using this spectral library, you can identify your object. For example, I am taking help of JPL1 library, and this is my signature, okay? And here it is showing object may be kaolinite. Same thing, I can check with USGS library also. If I click update result, again, in USGS library also it is showing it is the kaolinite. At the same time it is giving the probability. So very easily, very categorically you can use this tool. NV is very strong in classification. Different classification algorithms are available. At the same time subpixel classification algorithms are also available. Here I want to show you one subpixel algorithm output here. That is constant energy minimization. We have other subpixel classification algorithm like matched filtering, mixture tuned matched filtering, but here I want to show you the output constant. Okay. Now if I click import the spectral library, I am taking JPL, okay, select all. Now if I click apply, I will get the output. If I put the output file name and apply, I will get this constant subpixel classification algorithm. Directly I am coming to the result part. This is the subpixel output of particularly for this is the kaolinite layer. Here we have the tool, we can apply the density slicing tool, and this is the output for kaolinite. First we have seen, we have checked this area. We have created spectral profile for that particular area, and we have identified it as kaolinite, and here it is also showing as kaolinite. So telling this, I would like to hand over to Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. The next major advancement is incorporation of LiDAR datasets into ArcGIS and NV. Now the LiDAR datasets have become very popular. Even in India, we have been using extensively for this. So basically, one of the major projects like ICZM and all have been using this LiDAR dataset very extensively, and now user demand for use of these particular datasets has also increased. Keeping into the global demand, ArcGIS has also incorporated the LiDAR datasets into their system. So when you look at the basics of what is this LiDAR, it's basically operating at that electromagnetic spectrum, which is capturing all those reflections at 530 to 1550 at nanometers, and it collects this. So we have both the aerial, terrestrial, and the mobile methods of collecting the LiDAR. So one of the advantages is being like it is very good for man-made features. It can capture and the reflection comes back very thing. And it can, the best part is it can emit the pulses through the vegetation canopy and all those things, and it can process data. We can create contours or the GIS features from it and extract features out of this, and it saves a lot of time and money for any of those. So when you look at the RGIS enhancement towards that, we have introduced something like we can directly read a last data sets, and we can add values to it, and we can engage that. And to further to that, we can do a 3D analysis to it, a raster analysis to it, and we can even share this particular data set as a form of a service. So let's have a quick demo about what are the different classification methods which are available within ArcGIS and the filters which can we apply that. So Vishal, can you just quickly show that?
Okay, thank you, Krishna. Speaking about LiDAR, ArcGIS, we follow a very simple procedure. First is we create a LiDAR dataset, and then we add files to LiDAR dataset. As you can see, there's a simple LAS dataset tools which you can make use of to create the LiDAR dataset, and you can make use of that. So this is a simple LAS LiDAR dataset which we are using. We have various different tool sets to further analyze and visualize this data. So as I just use a simple tool called as LAS datasets, I would like to classify them based on different parameters. Currently, I'm classifying it on basis of elevation. I can just move to class and I can see. So I can just identify and find out which different features are being used. If you see towards the table of content, it would use a standard library where different classes are assigned with different colors and different modules. Now, similarly, I can just classify them on based on intensity, or even on based on returns, or I'll get back them to classes. Similarly, you have various filters available. If a GIS user wants to work for a ground area, here is what he can use of it. He can extract this part, he can use it into further analysis. Accordingly, he can use for non-ground areas. Here you can easily identify the electric lines, trees, and the base areas. Or he can just make use of all. This is about all we use in ArcGIS for Desktop 10.1. To explain about more advanced functionalities, I'll just hand it over to Krishna, and we'll show the further functionalities in E3DE.
Switch over to Partha.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Vishal.
Partha.
Sorry. This is the E3D software. This is from NV actually. This is NV extension of NV. Here this software is specifically for LiDAR data processing. Here you can import any type of LAS format here. Just I'm trying to import a LAS data here. I'm coming here where my data is available. This is the data, and here, and it is showing LAS data, or LiDAR data is not just like it is only latitude, longitude, and altitude. Here different type of projections are there. Wide list of datums are also available. You can choose as per the requirement. You can put your unit and UTM zone, anything. Now if you click OK, your data will be imported, and after import of your data you can process it. Here this is the after import data. On the basis of intensity, on the basis of elevation value, it has taken some color. Okay, actually this is the airport area. Even this is the all are point layer only, nothing else. Everything's a point, only point data. And this is the airport area. Everything you can see the numeric also, identify the numeric also. Here we have the tool, that is classification tool we have. Here you can see. This is you can generate the orthophoto, you can generate the DSM, you can generate the building, tree, power line, everything can be generated, and everything will be saving in the SAFE format. And that SAFE format or vector format can be utilized for further GIS processing. So directly classification and vector extraction. How categorically it is possible, that I'd like to show you here. I'd like to just show you the classified output here. This is the classified output. At the same time, you can see here it is generating the vector at the same time. Classified for point layer. Okay. Now we can see here This is the building area. These are the different big buildings are available at the same time. Okay. See, that way it is collected. And as per the requirement, you can on and off the building. That means you can generate the terrain without building or without any man-made feature. Exact DM you can generate from here. Here, very good interactive tools. If misclassification or in any automatic classification, misclassification is possible, that misclassification can be evaluated and rectified using the tool, rectification tool here. Okay. I would like to draw a cross section, and it is showing the cross section, cross profile. Okay. For example, I know that these are the few points which are not classified properly. Now what I can do, I just collect it and reclassify it very easily. We can, for example, I want to put all this point as terrain. If I click it, automatically that point has been merged with the terrain. That type of editing functionalities are there. At the same time, it is generating the vector files. That vector files you can utilize for your further GIS processing, and it is 3D vector data. Here we have the option directly you can generate the 3D view also. I have already keep it generated. This is the 3D view. If I want, I can fly also. At the time of flying, we can see big buildings. These are the buildings we have seen already, and this is the airport is coming. You can see the 32 is written there. So that way we can utilize the LiDAR data, and we can utilize our LiDAR processing software E3D. Thank you. And over to Krishna.
Thank you, Partha. So you could see that the video which was created doesn't require any intense graphic cards processing. That's where the technology on which the XLS has been built in, the ideal tools, the language on which this particular 3D algorithm was built in, need not have a heavy vector raster or the graphic card capability required for demonstration of the same. Now we'll quickly move on to the next tools, which is the tools for 3D engine, which is very popularly called, many of you would have seen in different session of the Esri City engine, which we have incorporated. This is the basic step workflow which we do in that. We have a geodatabase, and here the best part is you have just a 2D geometry with you. You give the values, you give in those particular functionalities to it, and you apply the textures and facade for that, and you create it, and finally you can come out with a finished 3D city model and creation of this. And now the best thing is how we have a centralized database which can support all these formats which are down here, from a 3D city GML to RGS imagery to a LiDAR data set and all. And then we have a 3D city engine, which is now a separate product, which will later become an extension part of our GIS. Now though it is not very directly as an extension, it comes as a separate product, is getting integrated as but one extension within RGS by the next version release. So you can see the data goes in as a 2D into city engine, and it is written back as a 3D to this. Based on the rules, all the things managing which we can do it, and further that this can also be viewed on a web browser. We can create a web scene out of this. You don't require a server deployment or any part of this. You can use a web scene, and this can be created this. And now with a further extension of our ArcGIS, this can be now, you can be also possible to view it on a mobile devices. So let's have a quick view of this from Vishal about this, and then we can move forward, because already organizers are telling me to rush up.
Okay, thank you very much. To explain about 3D functionalities, this is a product called as Esri City Engine version 2012. So as I can see, I have a simple 2D map layer, and I have some building parcel data along with me. Now I want to create a virtual 3D city. So it's as simple. I select few of the parcels, and I just have to apply some sort of rules to create a 3D city. So I'll just assign one of them right now. So here's a rule I apply. and say generate. So these rules are actually written in Python. They are Python scripts called as .cga files. These files take care of your texture, elevation, and other building information. So I'll just show. So as quickly you can see, it would generate many buildings for us. Now, just to explain about further functionality with S3 City Engine is, you can also take care of your road data along with your building data. So if I select few of the road features, and similarly I just have to drag and drop a rule file on top of this. So what it would do is, it would generate a street for me. And it would take care of information such as trees, poles, and other things. Now, going back to explain to you about other functionalities with S3 City Engine is, so I had just quickly created a few of the models in a similar way. So here, as you can see, I can take care of various zoning aspects such as commercial area, residential area, along with some parks, trees, gardens. So every urban planner and every rules right now consider of keeping the city clean and green. So you can make use of many of them. The window towards extreme your right hand side is called as a attribute inspector window. Now these are simple shape files, and the object attributes, as I can view, is straight away coming from my ArcGIS system. So I have a simple 2D plot area in my ArcGIS system. I can import it into 3D to create a virtual 3D city model. Now you have various tools such as drawing of freehand, or you could say you can change the rules for buildings, roads. So I'll just show one of them right now. So just right now we had constructed a single street, and we want to change some of the parameters for that. So I can just either elevate the street, or I can just change the other height information factors. I can select a building. I'm not happy with the size and shape of that. I can change the parameters such as changing the building height. So this is what a rule would provide. It would provide some sort of, you could say, customizable interface for the users to change the buildings accordingly. Now, once I'm happy with the kind of architecture I have done for my building, I'll select a few. Now it has a tight ArcGIS integration where the data can be imported and exported back to the ArcGIS system. I'll just show one of them right now. So I can just make use of an export tool which exports my data into various different formats. So I can use any one of these formats. For users working on Autodesk system, or you could say they can export it as a KML, or even they can make use of S3 file geodatabase. Now a new tool has been introduced with City Engine 2012 is, you can export it as a 3D web scene. A web scene is a process where we can make use of 3D on web. So we can just use this 3D features to be visualized on any of the simple web browsers. So I can export it into various different formats. So I exported it once. I'll just show you. This is the same 2D area which I used in City Engine to generate my 3D. And I'll go to exported output. So this is the output I can use in ArcScene. Here I can perform various different 3D analysis. Similarly, a very strong functionality now being introduced with City Engine is, I can just make it open in a web browser as well. So just within a few seconds it would actually initiate and show me my 3D on web. So what is a web scene technology here is, I perform analysis on certain models, and then I'm happy with it. I can just export it back to my web scene. So as you can see, my model is running on a simple web browser, and I can export it back to there. Now the same model can also be shared with other GIS users using ArcGIS Online technology. So if I share this same model on ArcGIS Online, the other GIS users can make use of this. Till the time, I'll just quickly navigate through a few of the features. And I can make use of sun shadow analysis right on my 3D as well. I can make use of direct shadow cast, or I can see that what would be the effect of shadows during different day times. Similarly, I'll see what if I use different shadow patterns. And once I'm done with this, I can share it through ArcGIS Online. I can open it on City Engine as well. I can just export this as models, open it on ArcGIS ArcScene. So I have just exported it to City Engine through ArcGIS Online. So thank you very much. Back to Krishna.
Thank you. So running quickly to it, let's look at what are the new changes. As I told you, the server thing has changed up drastically. The total ArcGIS server architecture has now changed in. We are gone away with 32-bit systems. It is going to be a completely 64-bit system. There are no more SOC SOMs, if you have heard about that. It is now just a pure server. When you look at the architecture here, you can see we just have one single ArcGIS server wherein one can administer it, or you don't even have to have a GIS administrator. Any desktop user who is a part of this can now straight away publish the services. And if you don't want, and it goes exclusively through the port 6080, you want to interface with your own personal web server, then you may have to have something called as a web adapter in order to send it with your own particular port part of that. So the next change to that is, previously we were all publishing your services through an MXD. Now at 10.1, all MXD, you can't publish an MXD straight away, rather you have to publish it in form of MSD files, where ArcGIS helps you in building that directly, and it has got many added mapping capabilities to that, and it has also supported various analysis layers to this. The installation and configuration has also become simple. It's a one ArcGIS server. Install, if you want to do it on multiple systems, install those licensing, and you can add it up as a complex thing. Let's look at one of the typical configurations of this. This is how a typical ArcGIS server is now going to look in like. And we have an ArcGIS server with a manager and ArcGIS primary site administrator, whereas a server account can be there. And it's all embedded within that particular port of 6080 for the creation of ArcGIS site. Further that, when you look at the development configuration, you need to just have server directories upon top of this, and you can do your customization. Whereas a single machine, you can put it with the same configuration, add a web adapter if you don't want to expose your ports which you are using in. And if you look at the same multi-machine environment, these things will get distributed between 4000 to 4004 plus ports, and automatically server can pick any of these ports if any of these have been engaged into other things. And through web adapter, it can be connected into further thing. Similarly, the publishing part has also become safer. Now the same version is available on your Linux and Windows flavor, and you can publish all those services through, just as I told you, through a desktop. So from the GIS analyst, you have a firewall, you can publish it, it can pass it through, and it can help you in creation of this. So the option is you can directly publish it, and another part of this, the database, where you want to keep the database. If there might be systems where you may not have access to DB servers directly. In such cases, we are given a facility to copy the data onto web servers. So this is what we recommend. Like if you have a large data set, please don't do that. If you have a secure data set, don't do that. In such cases, you can reference your database and authorize your DB servers with the ArcGIS servers, so that it knows where it is there, and that becomes more bulletproof for this, and no duplication of data can happen to that. So choice is left to you whether you want to copy the data to server or reference it, the choice which is left with you. So let's quickly look at the publish service workflow, what it is there with this. And of course, ArcGIS server comes with all those three flavors, the basic, standard, and the advanced. So Vishal, can you just quickly show this?
Yes. Now with ArcGIS for Desktop 10.1, we have a easy sharing options, unlike in ArcGIS for Desktop 10, where we used to use a menu called as file and then publish a map service. With 10.1, it has become very easy and user-friendly. You can just go to file and you can make use of share my data. So I can share it as either a map service or a map package. Now if I want to share it as a service, it would ask me to publish it. So this makes it very easy for a GIS user working on a particular thing as he finalizes his analysis and maps. So he can just make use of the sharing menu to share his web services, right from using file and share as. So this would share the complete data and maps to a ArcGIS server. So it would ask me the ArcGIS server profile, which I have already linked to. It would ask me for a name. I'll write it for India User Conference. Now, as it tries to connect to ArcGIS server, an interesting window would open up, which is a new feature in ArcGIS for server 10.1. It's called as a pre-publishing tool check. So this is a check where a GIS user can make various checks related to his data, display performance, what are the different errors, issues with that. He can make use of item description tab to write down much about his data, so that other GIS user can understand the data, where it is coming from and what it exactly means. Now here you have a button called as Analyze. This is the button I was talking, that it would check through my complete GIS maps and it would check for various different systems. As you can see, it has checked that the data source is having different issues and the map has been published into various different scales. So GIS user can make changes right in the desktop itself before publishing that, and then once it is all through, he can again publish back the services to ArcGIS for server. Now this was about a simple sharing experience. Back to Krishna.
Thank you. So that's what we saw, that the new publishing experience to this, and this is a choice which are leaving it to you. So coming back, the few other things of managing the service instances for that, where the ArcGIS server can now manage automatically the instances. If there are some of the instances are not being used, they can be automatically controlled. And if some other things, like if the load has become, you can even start the instance by itself. So that's the kind of thing, and it can stop an instance for that. The map caching has been improved significantly. You could have seen in the map publishing part of that. The print services have been improved to that. And we have added support to the web map tile services and web publishing services to this, and various caching tools have also been added to this. Further to the last, the image services has been also been provided, and in order to enhance your further tool parts of this, we can use your server object extensions in order to add the functionality to this. And one of the best part what now has been added is the ArcGIS. What we have got is the spatial data server, wherein now you can store the geometries in the native geometry. So if suppose you are using a SQL server and you want to store your spatial data in a SQL spatial format, now this gets enabled through our spatial data server. You want to store in the PostGRE native format, you can still do that with this spatial data server. And this is available at our standard and advanced things. And with our basic license, now you can even publish services and create a query part of this. You may not be able to do editing. Let's have a quick demo for this and we can get into the queries if you have any. So Sashi, over to Sashi.
Thank you, Krishna. You have seen that as familiar interface ArcGIS catalog. Here I have made a connection to SQL Server database. It is a simple SQL Server database. It means outside the geo database, and it is storing the feature classes in the native SQL Server format or the geometry or geography format. This I can publish it directly as a REST service. The same I have added in the ArcMap. Once you add that ArcMap in the ArcMap, just go to File, Share As, and Service. That publish as a service. Then I can give my own name. Then just continue. As Vishal has explained you that user interface for analyzing that, the same process here we have to follow. Then directly publish it. This will publish the data as a REST service. That we can see it in our data REST service folder. This got added here. This we can open it in directly in rgs.com, or you can use it in your own applications. Thank you. Over to Krishna.
Now quickly giving it to this, adding to our functionality of business analytics. So for all the people who may not be a GIS aware client, now RGS, with the RGS online capability, this particular functionality can now be accessed within your PowerPoint, Excel, and documents. Where now you see I have something like a GDP map of a GDP data of the country. And now I want to put it and plot it onto a map without having any other account to this. So once I plot to this, I can simply go to an Excel sheet and I can add this particular Excel data to the particular functionality, and I can map it out here. So where you can see as a and now the data can be added to this. So now you can see the whole data is getting calculated, and the data is getting fetched, and the map is getting fetched from our RGS online, and the Excel data gets plotted onto the map. So with this, even now if I want to do a clustering or the analysis out of this, if I want to group them, with a simple click of this, it can group your data based on the column which you want to select it. Let's assume I want to select it based on maybe the percentage of the total GDP, and you can give in all these things. So the one you calculates it automatically, and it groups them into a different size groups. Similarly, you want to cluster them together, the analysis, it has created a clusters of that. So such kind of simple things, bringing your spatial and analytical data onto this, can be done with this kind of business analytical thing. So I'll now open up the forum for any questions if you have.